Andrew McCART, IFL TV in association with MDK Global. I'm here at AAA Boxing Academy. With me I've got Alex Arthur. Alex, it's been too long, mate.
It's been a while, we've said that.
Our schedules are getting in the way a bit.
I know, we look different for the last time we've seen each other.
You look bigger.
Fatter, more like me.
I've lost more hair than I've got fat myself. So how is things going anyway?
Great. The gym's flying, but it's on full flow now. Loads of fights. Boys have been fighting already. Alec Junior fights tomorrow night in Dundee. Macklin fights next month in Dublin against Russia and Hungary. So it's full throttle in here.
Definitely. I've seen all the Instagram stories you put up with the kids just doing the bag work, the skipping,
all the strength and conditioning stuff. We'll be in the boys.
Yeah. Some of the strength and conditioning stuff looks hard.
It's very, very tough. We've got a brilliant strength conditioning coach in working with the lads just now. Obi's fantastic. He was a European under 19 100-metre champion for London. He'd done a whole plethora of strength conditioning stuff as well over the years, and he's just brilliant. He's really switched on, really clued up.
For the gym with these kids.
And it's fantastic for the boys because it gives them a really good understanding of like how you should try and transfer your strength conditioning into your boxing. You're not just going lifting weights and doing unnecessary stuff that might not necessarily transfer into your punch power. So it's really good. It's great for the lads.
Good stuff. Well, let's just jump straight into it. Huge fight this weekend.
Unbelievable.
Scotland's Josh Taylor, our good friend Josh Taylor, taking on Regis Prograis of America. I mean, this is the fight that it's one of them fights that it's grabbing everyone's attention. Because it's really trash talk. It's because it's two quality fighters fighting each other. So just give me your thoughts on the whole fight.
I actually, just before you arrived, I just got off the phone with, I think it was World Boxing News or whoever the one, I was saying that it's captured the imagination, not just the Scottish public, but obviously it's captured the imagination of the British public as well, because of the Muhammad Ali trophy and everything else that's on the line. Unification, it's a unification fight in reality as well. And for me, determines who the best light welterweight in the world is, super lightweight, whatever you want to call it these days. But it's also captured the imagination of the public in America. I've spoken to some of my American friends, they're buzzing for the fight. I've got pals in Russia that are buzzing for the fight. People everywhere are so excited about this fight. It's unbelievable. And in reality, it's just two of the best light welterweights in the world gone head to head. How you can't get better than that. That's what the boxing fans want to see. That's what the public want to see. The best fight the best.
Exactly.
It's just like we want to see Spence and Crawford. We want to see Fury and Wilder again. It's all the fights the public want, and they're crying for it, and it all seems to be happening.
Always happens when a Scotsman's involved, is it not?
We seem to find our way in there somehow or other.
Squeeze our way in there somehow. But again, the fight itself, there hasn't been any trash talk between them two. They're both saying to each other like,
of course,
you don't intimidate me, but that's what I like about this fight. Is there's none of that false trash talking. There's none of that false this bravado type thing. It's just two guys, confident, young.
They're both very, very confident. I think both of them give that off. Even in the boys made me sit through the. Was it Beyond the Ropes? When they're both sitting around the table chatting, they made me watch it last night. They've been at me for a while. Obviously, I've not been here a lot lately on the weekends and stuff. Been away commentating, so they made
what
me
did
sit.
You take from that then? Behind the gloves?
I was just about to say what I did take from it last night in particular was the fact that they're both very confident.
I said behind the gloves. It's not behind gloves.
They're both very confident. You can see it in both their eyes. They both believe they're going to win. And a lot of people saying that Prograis was maybe perhaps a wee bit, wasn't he too cocksure of himself? But I believe he is. I believe they both are, and I think that's what makes for such an exciting fight. And then when you break down the logistics of the fight and you start looking at their physical attributes, for me, you start to see what I'm not being biased. I'm not being a biased jock that I've been called lately, but when you look at that and you look at their physical attributes, I see a one-sided fight. And I said this last year, and I'll probably come under a bit of stick for it again. And listen, I might be wrong, but I'm very, very confident that I'm right. 31 years of boxing experience, I've never really done anything else.
You're going for Josh?
A wee bit. But no, again, I'm not going to bore everybody with the technical aspects of what I see. But
I want to. Don't obviously don't go too on whatnot. But what do you see as the key to this fight?
For me, to be honest, it's a case of start for the top down. So Josh is taller. He's got longer reach. he's got a better head on his shoulders, I think. And when I say that, a lot of people probably laugh at that know us all as people, because Josh is hot-headed and he's maybe on occasion not got the best temperament in the world, but I believe it works for him. I believe Josh makes that work for him. Josh hates losing at anything. He hates losing at sparring. He hates losing at throwing coins against the wall. I've known him since he was a kid. I know what he's like. He hates losing. So but he makes that work for him, and it certainly does. And then you go into the other physical aspects of their game, and he's faster for me. People say he's not a harder puncher than Prograis. I believe he is. I would rather take a full-blooded shot of Regis Prograis than Josh. And listen to that. I will pause it.
Pause it. I think you were saying something about Josh's speed as well.
We're breaking them down analytically. And again, I think Josh is quicker. I think he's a heavier hitter. I think his experience, I think he's got better overall experience than Prograis. Again, I know they both started late. Josh started a little bit earlier than him. I know they've mixed with great calibre over the years in terms of sparring and in fights. But I feel that Josh's amateur pedigree is something that's just going to take him over the line in terms of experience a wee bit. And then you would go to, for me, their engine, how much they've got in the gas tank. And I think we've seen Josh over the years work that wee bit harder throughout fights than Regis Prograis.
I'm about 10 minutes early, mate.
Okay, my man. And I feel that he's I feel that he can push harder for longer, and I think that as the fight goes on, I think Josh Taylor will still be coming on strong. We've seen it. He's dropping people in the late rounds, and he's coming on strong late. So again, I just can't see how Prograis can win. Josh's feet are quicker. He's got quicker feet. He can get in and out of range better. I think he's got better lateral movement. I think he's got better movement for the waist. I think he reads punches coming at him a bit better as well. I'm not saying he always moves away. He's got that.
He's got a chin as well.
He's got a great chin. He's got that Scottish thing as well. Backing me up. If you want a square go, we'll have a square go. Let's go. So he's got that element as well. So there's no any area. Again, I'm not being a biased jock, but there's no any area that I can see him getting beaten. So, that's just my personal opinion.
Well, I'll tell you what I think off camera, but So what you obviously think Josh wins this, but where does Josh go next then after this fight? If all going well on Saturday, do you think the Ramirez unification?
Well, that would be the icing on the cake, wouldn't it? Definitely. I think he eventually has to move up. I think we're seeing that now a wee bit more as well with Josh. That he doesn't look like poor at weigh-ins. He doesn't, not by any means, but. For me, he's looking tighter and tighter, and I know the signs because I went through them all myself, and you see them over the years. You see your friends going through it as well, and you can just see it's getting that wee bit less comfortable for him now to make the weight, I believe. Even though he does make the weight well, I think it's getting harder, and it'll get harder still. It will get harder still. He's a big lad, he's a big lad, and I think welterweight is a it's an unbelievable division, but I don't think the jump to welterweight is going to affect Josh in any way. I think he'll carry his speed, his power and everything else with him to that weight. He might even feel a little bit better than what he does having to make light welterweight for so long.
Again, well, at the weekend you called Lewis Ritson's fight at the weekend. I was inside as well watching Lewis Ritson. Eddie Hearn mentioned something that he would like Lewis to face the winner of Josh Taylor and Regis Prograis, preferably at St James's Park in May. Again, you watched Lewis Ritson. Great performance for Lewis.
It really was.
What's your thoughts on that fight then? If that plays out,
that's a one-sided fight for me. That's a one-sided fight. Yeah, I think Josh is on a whole other level altogether. No disrespect to Lewis Ritson. I'm a fan of Lewis Ritson. I love watching him fight. I think he's got a brilliant jab. I love his jab. I love how he steps with his jab. His jab's not a rangefinder. He's aiming to break your nose with his jab. Much similar to what I've done myself. I love his jab. He's fantastic. He's got great straight shots, and he works to the body pretty well. He reminds me a wee bit of Ricky Burns sometimes when I see him fight. Not as flighty and as jumpy. Of course, I think they both trained with Billy Nelson as well. That's right, and I think they both maybe even sparred together for what I remember. So I think that there's probably a wee bit of the style that's rubbed off there. So, but he's fast hands, super tough, really determined. But I think that's different levels altogether. That's just another. I'm not being
the whole thing being at St James's Park, like waters my mouth a little bit. I would love that because the atmosphere in that arena for 9,000.
It was remarkable. It was unbelievable. they really bring it. The Geordie fans, the Newcastle people, they really bring it, and it's amazing stuff. Like how passionate they get about the whole thing. It's fantastic. I fought in Newcastle myself. I defended my British title in 2002, and me, Jock, and Ricky Hatton, we'd done like a triple header in December. And the roof came off the place. It was unbelievable. In the Metro Centre. It was ridiculous. It was crazy how much support I got, and it was just unbelievable. So a Scotsman against a guy from Newcastle down there would be something, wouldn't it?
Definitely.
It really would.
That's what I'm saying. That's what just that whole James thing. You mentioned Ricky Burns there because he's part of Lewis Ritson. Staying on the Scottish theme, I mean, he's fighting Lee Selby on Saturday night. Quick thoughts on that?
That's another really interesting fight. I think more so because where they both are in their careers right now. I think that, of course, the winner can maybe go on even challenging for something else again. Where the loser for me hasn't. Well, they'll still have somewhere to go, but it's not going to. It's not going to look as bright though. It's not going to look as bright their future. So, but putting all that aside, it's still a really interesting fight, like stylistically as well. And I'm really interested to see how both them, what their approach is going to be, because I think that Lee Selby will opt to try and box, and I think that Ricky Burns will probably try and put the pressure on him and hold the centre of the ring. I think he'll believe that he's got a size advantage and a wee bit of physical advantage over Lee Selby. So I really do think that it's super interesting for me, like the whole style, what they're going to do, you know. And I think because of the juncture of their career that they're at, there's loads on the line, so both of them, none of them are going to want to give ground.
Do you think Ricky could do it, or is it just Lee's got the age and the skill factor to
he's possibly a wee bit fresher as well, but there's no tougher man on God's green earth than Ricky Burns. There's no, and if there is one, I want to know who he is.
Sitting right here,
you know, there you go.
No chance I'm tougher than Ricky Burns.
I mean, he's he's one of the toughest men in the world for me, and I just didn't believe that there's just no quitting Ricky Burns at all. And that's another concern, because when will Ricky know when to say, all right, that's enough now?
I think his fitness levels are keeping him there.
His fitness is phenomenal. His fitness is phenomenal. I mean, you even hear the stories coming out of London and stuff, and when he trains with the guys in there, they can keep up with him.
Exactly.
He's an absolute machine. He's an absolute machine. He's a phenomenal athlete. Phenomenal.
Well, staying on that card as well, the big heavyweight fight on the O2 is Chisora versus David Price. So some people say Chisora's obviously the favourite going on now, obviously.
Well, you would like to think so. Gone on recent form and stuff, obviously the win over Allen was a brilliant win, and we've seen him kind of like reinvent himself overnight. But there's always that element, as good as I think David Price is, there's always that element of his chin. People worry if he can take a huge shot from the big heavyweights. He certainly knows how to land them. But his last performance was just fantastic. He done everything so well. He really was brilliant. He controlled that fight for the first bell to the last. He was fantastic. If he can put on another performance like that, I mean, you're looking at a different animal altogether. You know, physically, Chisora much bigger, massive. You know, really doesn't know how to take a backward step. Huge puncher. So again, a really interesting fight as well. One that I would like to see David Price come out. I just like him. He captures you in a way that you want him to win, and I would love to see him win. He's a lovable guy as well, and I would like to see him pull another massive upset and maybe even get a heavyweight title shot somewhere down the line. He would deserve that.
Yeah, he's been plugging away here, there, and everywhere, hasn't he? Some people are saying for David to do it, he's got to do it within the first 4 or 5 rounds, because obviously it's well documented the way his gas tank and his energy levels are. So.
Against a physically bigger guy as well, who's probably going to be pressing him quite a lot and shoving him and pushing him and probably constantly digging him under the ribs. So he'll have to be cautious of all that kind of stuff. And I'm quite sure he's done good enough preparation for the fight. He looked in great shape in his last fight. So there's a wee part of me that always would like to see David Price win.
I want to stay in the heavyweight division quickly, just obviously, just quick thought on Usyk's debut on the heavyweight division.
Well, I commentated on the fight. He was brilliant. He really was good. I know he wasn't up against the best opposition in the world in the heavyweight division, but having watched him, and you know how cautious he was at the start, it's like he sort of like breaks his opposition down. He puts himself in positions where he's actually asking his opponent to hit him so he can see what shot his opponent throws. He then decides to move a certain way, and then you can see him literally breaking people down as he works. I think anybody in the heavyweight division will struggle with that, and I think because he's phenomenal engine and he's unbelievably good footwork, I think it will take him in and out danger all the time, but he just leaves himself in positions where he can essentially hit his opponent with as much shots as he wants and not really get hit back. He's like a big Lomachenko in reality.
Yeah.
And
you said that before.
He's fantastic to watch, and how you see him break these guys down, it's really special. And I really do feel that he's going to give everybody so much trouble, no matter who he's up against, even the big giant guys.
I was going to ask that. My next question was going to be, do you think he's ready for the winner of Joshua and Ruiz, being that he's WBO mandatory?
He's mandatory, but I think he needs another couple of bouts. Still, he's settling at the weight. It's a big jump. It's a massive jump. And he's not the biggest guy in the world. But he's, again, he's technical boxing and his feet and everything else, his brain's unbelievable. It works at a different rate.
Yeah.
It works at a different speed. He's got to be the smartest heavyweight in the world already. You know, his brain works at, arguably Tyson Fury's super smart when he's in the ring as well, but this guy just seems to break you down like a computer. And I really do think that he's just going to be a nightmare for everybody who fights. Everybody.
Before I talk about the huge Scottish fight happening in November, we know who that is, but I might just get a quick prediction of you, Joshua and Ruiz. I know you've probably said this before to me, but I can't quite remember what you said. Who do you think will win, Joshua Ruiz?
I honestly feel the worst. I feel the worst again, and you know, I've watched the fight back. I've watched them training. I've watched the way that they're both speaking, and you know, and how they're going about their everyday life. I think that relates loads to the boxing, and I just think it's repeat. I think it's repeat. I don't know why I do. You know, and you want to hope that AJ can pull it off, because it's just better. It's just better in Britain for boxing in Britain, and that's been a bit. I don't know what you want to call that, but it's just for the future, for the Fury fight and possibly the Wilder fight. I just think it's bigger and better, but I just don't think it's going to happen. I really feel that Ruiz is going to pull it off again. I do. It just looks like Joshua's worst nightmare for me. Yeah. Okay,
well, let's talk about the biggest fight in Scotland since Alex Arthur versus Ricky Burns.
It would be. It would. Me and Ricky fought last.
Guys, because that was 15 years ago.
It would have been. It was just that obviously fought Willie Limond as well, and then Craig Docherty, and then Ricky. So it's always a bit.
Since them three, anyways.
Since that era, yeah. And
obviously Lee McGregor versus Cashman. You know both guys very well. We spoke off camera. You said it's a good fight.
It's a brilliant fight. It's brilliant. It's brilliant. It's made me like a fanboy. It's
welcome to my world.
I'm so excited. I'm so excited for this fight, and obviously well, it's not obvious, but I'm commentating on the fight and for BBC Scotland, and it's got to be hard commentating on it, because when you're so caught up in a fight and you're excited about a fight, it's hard to relay what's going on, and I hope I'm not just like, whoa, brilliant shot, oh, brilliant. So I think
it's like the raw emotion.
A wee bit will probably come out. Both guys they're fantastic. They're potential world champions for me. Lee McGregor always in my eyes is a phenomenal talent. Even when he was a young amateur, he was just fantastic. Cash has been maybe a slow burner, but man, when I say somebody gets better every fight, this kid gets better every fight. Every single fight he does something that literally blows me away, and I'm so surprised that he can pull off some of the stuff that he does. He's just fantastic. He's getting better all the time, and his ring generalship and his positioning is just brilliant. He sets up his shots so well. He's not the fastest cat in the world, but his timing is so good, and where he leaves himself, he's worrying like for anybody that he's up against, because he can punch. He lives the life. You know, he very rarely goes above the weight. He trains all the time. He lives boxing. He's single-mindedly determined as well. You know, he's not doing it for nothing apart from the fact that he wants to be a successful boxing champion. And he's an impressive young man, like overall, very impressive young man. And like I said, every time I see him, he does something else different and better. He improves every fight, every single fight.
And it's good for it as well, because both guys have took this fight so well on. They didn't have to. They could have done this thing with the
it's unbelievable.
But they've just took it and they can both come again.
They will. And I really do believe that both of them have got the ability to be world champions. I've not got any doubt in my mind. In Scotland right now, along with Wally Hutchison, for me, they can all become world champions right now. For the young pros that I can see coming through, it's they three certainly that stand out the most. And Lee McGregor's got more talent than what he knows what to do with. I mean, he's unbelievably talented. Can bang for his weight. He's massive for the weight as well. which for me was, as obviously harping back to weight, is always a concern, because the weight can just ruin a fighter. But I think Lee's young enough and fresh enough to, I mean, you remember it yourself when you're 22 or 23, you could lose a stone in a week and drink a bottle of Powerade, you're ready to fight. As you get a bit older, that becomes a problem. Aye, there you go. It becomes a problem when you get older. I don't think there's going to be any issue with Lee. Might be really tough to make the weight, but his refueling and stuff will be fine, and I believe by the time he gets in the ring he'll be feeling pretty good. So it just makes for such a brilliant fight. Again, physical advantages probably go to Lee, you know, height, reach, power, and then ring generalship, guile, and you know, just like somebody who's improving so much every time he fights is probably in Cash's favour. You know, Lee, I believe, made a wee bit hard work at Scott Allen. He could have made it much easier. But Lee being Lee, a bit like Josh Taylor, sometimes
That's
just
Scottish
likes to just likes to say, come on then, square go, when they're brilliant boxers. And you're just like, why are you doing that when you can just box their ears off? I'm one to talk, yeah.
Exactly. You had a few fights.
Oh, good goodness. So, I'm buzzing for this fight.
I won't put you on the spot and give me a winner.
I've honestly not got a clue.
I'm not going to put you on the spot.
Honestly, mate, you could. I do not know who's going to win the fight, because when you look at both their attributes and what they've got in their tank and their cupboards, it's like, man, like how can you predict that fight? You just can't. You can't. I've said this to everybody, and if it goes past 4 rounds, I'll know who's going to win. I'll know who's going to win after 4 rounds. But right up to that point, I've not got a clue.
So did he speak to Alex?
I've not got a clue, not got a clue. Everybody running over after 4 rounds and ask me, I'll know who's going to win. I'll know who's going to win.
Well, again, can we see, finally, obviously, can we see, because obviously this gentleman here is waiting for his PT session, so, because they've took us so earlier on in the career, they're probably going to go up and weight at the same time. Do you think we can see rematches and trilogies with these two?
Possibly. And I hope that they didn't come too soon. I hope that after this fight, maybe the next time the fight's moved for a world championship in Scotland, maybe in Edinburgh this time.
Oh, please do, aye.
You know, wouldn't that be something, eh?
Murrayfield.
Anywhere. They could put it anywhere, wouldn't they? They could put it anywhere. And if it's going to be a classic like I feel it's going to be, then people will want to see that fight again, without a shadow of doubt. Everybody will want to see that fight again, believe me, because I think it's going to be unbelievable.
2 jocks going at it, can't complain.
Absolutely brilliant.
Well, Alex, let's not wait too long for the next one, right?
No worries,
Promise?
Promise,
Good
my man.
As always, thanks for the FL TV, and catch up with you soon, Alex.
Bye, guys.